Spending several years in Vancouver's Chinatown, just a block from East Hastings, I got a front row to the raw realities of addiction, the loss, the human cost. I spent a decade in Asia before this, living and working across multiple countries, but nothing prepared me for the jarring experience of stepping into Hastings Street. I felt more like a foreigner there than I ever did in Japan. Over time, the hardest truth settles in. We adapt, we get numb, even the most gut-wrenching scenes start to fade. The loud cries blend into the noise of the city. Maybe it's ignorance, maybe it's survival. It's how we cope with the constant flood of things that demand our attention. But it's a dangerous defense mechanism, one that we, as advocacy groups and cancer organizations, cannot afford to ignore. Canada, in many ways, has let addiction slip into the background. We can't allow the same to persist with pancreatic cancer. Let's be blunt. We live in a world where everybody's swiping, tapping, and skimming. Attention spans are at an all-time low. If something doesn't grab you in the first 3 seconds, it's lost in the scroll. Pancreatic cancer often gets overlooked because it feels like a distant problem until it hits home. It's our job to make sure that it doesn't fade into the noise, that it captures attention. But just raising awareness is not enough. This week, you might have saw the news article about Heather Cutler Foundation, where one of the things I talk about is the challenge of getting people to really care about pancreatic cancer. Pancreatic cancer is a real problem, whether you're ready to hear it or not. Look, there are endless causes vying for our attention, but pancreatic cancer, it's a quiet killer nobody sees coming. And by the time it presents itself, it's already too late to do anything. It's not the kind of cancer with a pretty pink ribbon and millions of dollars in funding. People don't want to hear about it because it's bleak, it's brutal, and if we're being completely real, it's terrifying. But that's exactly why we have to make people care, and that's a real challenge. Why people scroll past pancreatic cancer and why we need them to stop. The deal is, if you hadn't had your life ripped apart by it, pancreatic cancer just isn't on your radar. It wasn't on mine, but once it hits someone you love, it becomes your whole world. If we all go on just caring about ourselves, not making personal connections and sharing our experiences, then we don't grow and pancreatic cancer doesn't get the attention it so desperately needs right now. You don't realize the system is broken until you're in the middle of it. Until you're navigating red tape, waiting weeks for testing, running around in circles, hearing doctors tell you, sorry, there's nothing else we can do. And yet, because it's rare and complex, there's no rush to make real change. We're trying to change that, and we need people to wake up and join us. People want real, not perfect, so here's real. One thing we're learning in this fight is that the faked LinkedIn-style branding just doesn't cut it. People are craving something genuine. They want to see stories that make them feel, not just statistics. They want to know that real lives are on the line here, that real families are out here fighting for time they may not have. So that's what we're doing, bringing the messy, raw truth of pancreatic cancer to the front of the conversation. We're not here for performative awareness. The Heather Cutler Foundation isn't in this to be inspirational or heartwarming. We're here because lives depend on it. Heather's story, unfortunately, is not unique. I just cared enough to talk about it. She wasn't just a statistic. She was a nurse, my mother, a wife. She was someone who spent her life taking care of others, and then when it came time to get care, she had to jump through hoops just to get access to things that should be standard. We had to fight every step of the way, learning firsthand just how brutal this disease and the system around it can be. Connecting on a human level, how we're cutting through the noise. So how do we break through the noise? How do we make people pay attention to a disease that feels invisible until it's too late? Here's what we're doing, and we're not sugarcoating any of it. Number 1, get personal, get real. People connect with people, not brands or carefully crafted campaigns. We're telling Heather's story in all its pain and hope. We're sharing our family's experience so others can see this isn't just a statistic. And the intention is not to sugarcoat anything, because you can't be responsible for being misleading. You can't be responsible for sweeping things under the rug just to save reputations as a courtesy for others. It's someone's mom, someone's partner, someone's friend who should have had more time. That's what we're fighting for, time, and we need to make people feel that. Number 2, quit playing it safe. We're not here to be safe or diplomatic. Pancreatic cancer isn't polite, and honestly, neither are we. It's going to take honesty that might make people feel uncomfortable. This is about getting people to understand that this disease doesn't care if you're ready for it or not. It doesn't give second chances, so neither are we. We're laying it out bluntly because that's what it takes to break through. Number 3, empathy, not pity. Pancreatic Cancer Canada is right on the ball with we've raised enough sympathy. We don't need pity, and we're not here for sympathy points. We need empathy, real human empathy that makes people realize that they could be in the same situation tomorrow. That realization, that gut level understanding is what drives action, and action is what's going to drive change. When you can help people see themselves in your story, that's when they start to care. Number 4, make it easy to help. People don't act because they don't know how or they think it won't matter. We're making it simple: sign a petition, share a post, support the foundation. People need to know their actions, however small, do make a difference. They need to feel like they're part of something that's moving towards change. Number 5, break the cycle of silence. The more we talk about it, the less it hides. We're not letting some disease remain something people don't want to talk about until it's too late. If we want people to care, we have to be persistent, relentless about getting the word out, about demanding better, about refusing to let pancreatic cancer spend any longer living as a silent killer. We're not here to make friends, we're here to make allies. The Heather Cutler Foundation is unapologetic about our mission. We're not in this to play nice or to tiptoe around the hard truths. Heather's legacy and the legacy of all those lost to pancreatic cancer deserves more than that. The families suffering through this deserve more than that. So if you're looking for a cause to back, if you're ready to make a difference in a world that needs it, join us. We're not here for clicks or performative posts. We're here to make people care enough to demand change. And we're not stopping until we see it.